3 Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?
Question of the week
this week, and I think I remember I probably saw somebody tweet about it, but I thought it was an interesting question, and it kind of compared. We've always kind of heard the WrestleMania compared to the Super Bowl of professional wrestling. So the question that kind of came to my mind is like, and I've seen people complain that like, oh, there's only 2 matches kind of booked so far. Again, we have a pay-per-view this Sunday. But there's only a couple of matches. The build doesn't seem great. After Fastlane, you only get a couple of weeks. So they're like, the card's not great. Flyers winning 3-0, by the way, which if you saw them lose 9-0 yesterday.
Right, we don't have to keep talking about it.
I do, damn it. So like, the thing that kind of came into my head is like, as a sports fan, I'm watching the Super Bowl regardless of who's playing. As a hockey fan, I'm watching the Stanley Cup Finals regardless of who's playing. As a wrestling fan, especially the WWE mark that I am, I'm watching WrestleMania no matter what. But like, does the WrestleMania card, as we travel the road to WrestleMania, does the WrestleMania card matter to you guys, or is it or is WrestleMania? Does it sell itself? Like, are you like, I know I'm watching WrestleMania?
I mean, we're on a wrestling podcast. We all just kind of have to watch.
So even before the show, like before we did the show, did it matter? Like, were you waiting to see what the main event was going to be? Did whoever won the Royal Rumble to be a part of the main event, did that matter? Like, because back then, because again, right now, I mean, Matt, I know you're an Xfinity subscriber. You now have the network for free like I do. So you're probably going to tune in anyway. We have this show. But like back in the days, a long, long time ago when we had to spend $45, $50 on WrestleManias, like did it matter to you what the card was?
Not for the big four. It never really did for those. But I mean, I wasn't buying many of the secondary pay-per-views unless they pulled me in with the card. So I think WrestleMania has still always had that drawing power of just, it's a big enough event and I can get enough people interested in it to split the buy-in with me. It's like, if I'm like, hey, do you want to come watch, WrestleMania this weekend? I can get 3 or 4 of my friends to be like, yeah, why not? If I'm like, hey, do you guys want to come watch Great Balls of Fire? They'll be like, excuse me.
No. Like, what kind of
tagline?
Right. The movie with Winona Ryder? No, I don't want to come watch that movie. So I think the name has always carried enough that I was going to get it just as a fan. But that's only because of the big four. And sometimes even with like a Survivor Series, I might not get that one. Like Rumble, SummerSlam, WrestleMania were the 3 I always got, and then it was just kind of a, if the card sells me on it beyond that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Like I always got those 3. The Survivor Series was up in there. The other monthly ones, it depended if Jerry McDonald was going to have people over at his house or not.
Depending if Big Jim had the cherry tea from Turkey Hill.
right, exactly. At Turkey Hill, we're still coming for you. We're getting our legal team on it. But yeah, I mean, WrestleMania was always kind of that one that even I think in the years where I didn't watch wrestling that much, I think I still went to friends' houses to watch it. Mark, does WrestleMania sell itself to you? Did it always sell itself to you?
Yep, absolutely. I mean, going back to The first WrestleMania that I saw live as it happened on a pay-per-view was WrestleMania 3. And that main event with Hogan and Andre sold me on that. I mean, I went to see it anyway, but after that, WrestleMania 4, just because it was WrestleMania, I didn't really care about the tournament. I thought that was silly. But I think it's one of those things where a casual wrestling fan may not necessarily buy it. I think they would base that more on the matches than diehard wrestling fans like us.
Tim, how about you?
I feel as though it helps me set my expectations. Like, I will buy it, but if the card isn't like catching me, I'm less invested. Like, no offense, but this year is shaping up to be a bunch of WrestleMania matches we've already seen. Like, not at WrestleMania, but like, if the Intercontinental title goes the way it's supposed to go, if the U.S. title goes the way it's supposed to go, if Randy Orton pans out the way it's supposed to go, like, WrestleMania is supposed to be a place of like
the showcase of the Immortals.
And also, like, maybe not a culmination, but near the peak of a storyline. And like all these other matches that they've given away on in the pandemic era, like, just they've kind of soured me on what WrestleMania is going to be this year.
And I think that was kind of one of the thoughts I had a little while back. It was when we found out that WWE was planning on having fans at WrestleMania. Like, my initial thought was like, okay, are they really going to make this thing that big, or is it just going to feel big because it's at a stadium, it's outside of the Thunderdome, it's not at the PC, it's not at the Capitol Wrestling Center. There's going to be people in the audience, no matter what number it is. I think the estimate now is around 25,000 each night. Makes me feel a lot better than the rumor of 45,000 each night. So, like, is it just going to are they selling WrestleMania this year? And I think that's what's happening. I think this year they're selling WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania back in business. Like, fans are going to be there. Like, I mean, Edge winning the Rumble, Bianca winning the Rumble, but like, besides that, it hasn't. I mean, we have a tag team title match with the guy who's making his WWE debut in Omos. So, I'm like, that doesn't scream WrestleMania to me. And like I said, obviously watching either way. But this year it feels like it's more they're selling WrestleMania because it's back feeling more like WrestleMania as opposed to we're laying out this classic card, which, yeah, I mean, but you look back at like 32, there was a great card, great build, and it fell flat for a lot of people. 31 kind of was like, meh. And then, it kind of exceeded the build and expectation. So maybe that's what they're hoping for on this one, that whatever that lasting image that it leaves us with is going to is going to give us. Three Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? Scotty here says, I don't understand why people would pay the ridiculous price to go to Mania this year. Only 3 matches he's legit ready for: Lashley, Drew, Edge, Reigns, and Bianca, Sasha. I mean, I think for a lot of people, it's getting back to a live wrestling show, and it's getting back to a feeling of normalcy or whatever, or it's a kind of a tradition thing. Like there's friends of the show, the Take 3 Wrestling podcast, that two of the guys have been going to every WrestleMania, I think, since 29. So like for some people it's tradition, and they didn't get to do that last year. So I mean I wouldn't go this year, but it has, even if I lived in Tampa, and it has nothing to do with the price. It has to do with the fact that I'm not getting around 25 to whatever thousand people, whether it's outside or not. That's not on my things to do list in early April 2021. So why people are doing it, I think it's just kind of that. They want to be part of what is kind of a historic WrestleMania. And yeah, as far as I know, the Raw after Mania is going to be back at the Thunderdome. I don't think that it's going to be anywhere with fans. I don't think they're planning on doing it at the stadium. I think it's just going to be back in the Thunderdome. So, which will kind of feel like a fart in church after 2 nights of a big crowd, but you kind of got to work with what the situation has given us this year.
Did you see the liability waiver and release?
No.
So, WWE has issued an announcement on the health and safety protocols for attendees and ticket holders, and all attendees going to the event are agreeing to the liability waiver and release and assumption of risk and indemnity agreement. It has language in it such as, I have voluntarily agreed to attend the event. I understand and expressly acknowledge that attending is potentially dangerous to, among other things, risk of spreading or acquiring COVID-19 or similar infectious disease, and other unanticipated and unexpected dangers may arise from my attendance at the event. I hereby assume all risk of loss, damage, and or injury, including death, to my person and or property associated with my attendance to the event, including whether caused by the negligent acts or omissions of Tampa Sport Authority, Raymond James Stadium, and World Wrestling Entertainment Incorporated, and each of its parent, subsidiary, and affiliate companies, and each of its officers, directors, shareholders, employees, independent contractors, agents, or representatives, collectively the released parties.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds about right. I mean, they're protecting themselves. I mean, I would imagine I haven't seen what if you've bought tickets to football games or baseball games or NHL games or NBA games or anything like that, but I'm sure somewhere along the ticket buying process there's something along those lines as well, because whether it's Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, whether it's the Philadelphia Flyers / 76ers, whether whomever it may be, there's a degree of protection, because I mean anytime you buy a ticket there's a warning about getting struck by a bat or a puck or a ball or anything like that, so that you're agreeing whenever you buy a ticket, you're agreeing to basically put your life at risk for any number of things. Scotty asks, who is dumber, Dana White, who will have a full house at 261, or Vince? Dana White.
Because it's indoors.
It's indoors and it's a full crowd. Like here, at least you're kind of in the pod seating situation. Like we've seen it at AEW and we've seen it at other events.
But now here's the thing: if WWE even did full arena, it's still UFC that's dumber.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on the coronavirus aside, as long as WWE plays by the rules set by the state of Florida, it's outdoors, put as many people as you want in there.
Wait, there's rules in Florida?
I mean, I don't know if they're a fully open state.
Yeah, I'm
But-
not. I don't. They're not Texas.
They're not Texas. They're not. What's the other state?
Mississippi.
Yeah,
Mississippi.
Mississippi's open. Arizona, I think, is open-ish.
Yeah. And
But-
like,
If the question is who's dumber, Dana White or anyone, the answer is usually Dana White.
Right. Yeah. That's usually a fairly safe answer. But yeah, I mean, like, here's the deal. The crowds have been similar to this at Dynamite for months. There hasn't really been any reports that I've seen of any issues with people getting sick after the fact from being there. It's pod seating, it's outdoors, so it's I mean, would I feel safe going there right now? No, but it's certainly a lot safer than shoulder to shoulder indoors without question. So Dana White definitely dumber on that one. So but yeah, I think WrestleMania, I think this year especially, and it's not overly surprising that I feel like they are selling Mania as Mania versus Mania the card, just because it's the first time in a year plus that you're going to have a crowd at a WWE show. So what ridiculous thing will Shane jump off of? If it's not that pirate ship, then
And why is he even on the card?
right, then why are we even here? Why are we even
well,
going to do?
technically, he's not on the card yet.
Well, he's not, but we're hoping that he is.
We are.
Well, if he's going to jump off a pirate ship now, did that match got pulled off of Fastlane, right? Or is it
Yes.
still okay?
Thank God.
Let me ask you this, Jim. What opponent could Shane McMahon have and beat that would upset you as much as the time he beat The Miz?
Oh God.
And
The
why is
Fiend
it
Bray Wyatt.
Damian Priest.
I mean, without a doubt, if he would face and defeat the Fiend Bray Wyatt, that would invoke the wrath of the Big Jim.
You do know the Fiend is dead, right?
Well,
Like he got set on fire.
Even still, he should still defeat Shane McMahon.
A resurrected Fiend versus Shane McMahon.
Fiend should still win if it's connected to the Fiend in any way. Hell, even if Alexa Bliss at this point lost to Shane McMahon, I'd be more upset probably.
More on that later.
3 Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?